All right, so coming back to fractions, we've been doing a lot of work with adding and subtracting fractions over the course of the year, a little bit of review lately. We're moving on to this idea of multiplying fractions. And we're going to start with multiplying fractions and in whole numbers, multiplying fractions by whole numbers. And what's interesting is that multiplying and dividing with fractions actually tends to be a little easier than adding and subtracting, which feels a little kind of ironic because we've been adding and subtracting for so long in our lives. But with fractions, multiplying fractions is actually quite easy. But when using a whole number, it actually kind of relates back to something that we already know, which is finding fractions of whole numbers. So we have done things like 1/2, and we would say of like 8 is 4. We've discussed already that this idea is like, this is telling me groups of something. The word groups doesn't make as much sense when reading it fractionally, but that's what multiplication is talking about, is how many groups of something. So if you had half a group of 8, it would be 4. All right, cool. That's 8 divided by 2. Like, however you choose to look at it, we have really been crushing this. However, we also know that because of the commutative property, this is the same. Might not be what you call it, but you know that you can flip those two things around. And so even though we haven't talked about what 8 times 1/2 is, you know what 1/2 times 8 is, and so it's going to be the same answer. And so we're going to talk just a little bit today about, like, why is that true? What does it mean when you say 8 times 1/2? But if it helps, at the end of the day, interchanging those two, we're talking about half of 8 is the same as talking about 8 halves. So just to get the answer out of the way, in my first example, I'll use thirds and sixths. So I would read the top one as 1/3 of 6, and we have discussed how that means you're taking 6 and you're dividing it into 3 pieces. You're dividing it into thirds and saying, what is 1/3 of that? And that's where my 2 comes in. So what does it mean when we say 6 times 1/3? Well, think about how multiplication really is talking about repeated addition. And I wouldn't write this out every time, but it's a great way to model it, is that, hey, if I have, 6 times 2, what that means is 6 plus, or it means 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6 times. The same thing is true with fractions. It's 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3. And I have 6 of them, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I make sure that they kind of represent all of my thirds. Why would I do that, or how is that intended to be helpful? Well, we know how to add by, when everything has a common denominator, you just take the numerators and add them up. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 6. Oops. I'm going to write it on the other side so that it actually fits. All of these ones added together make 6, and the denominator is the same. The answer is 6/3. What is 6/3? Conveniently enough, it is 2. It is 2. All right. So what is the difference, or why would we care about, what 8 halves versus half of 1/8, a half of 8? So let's take a look at this set of problems. The issue here is that, I can reverse 3 times 4/5 into 4/5 of 3. I don't know what 4/5 of 3 is. So not all fractions work the other way around in an intuitive sense. They're still equivalent. It's just not easy for me to solve. So therein comes our lesson, or important part here for us today, is to say, all right, well, if I take 4/5 and I add it up 3 times, it would look like this. Again, same size pants, right? So my denominators are the same across the board, which I love, which allows me to say 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12/5. Just because I can't help myself, I would also point out that that is 2 and 2/5. Either of those is okay with me. As I've mentioned before, I think a lot of people like things converted to mixed numbers. 2 times 9/10 means I got 9/10 plus another 9/10. We're working in tenths, so I know my answer is going to be in tenths. 9 plus 9 is 18. Or 1 and 8/10 which is the same as 1 4/5. That wins for best answer. Is a simplified fraction is a happy fraction. Last one through here. 4/7, and I have 4 of them. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 equals 16/7. 2 2/7 is my answer. I did go through and carefully, so diligently include all of this work about mixed numbers, but I really want us to focus on these improper fractions. Ooh, made a little mess there, but focus on these as answers. And to draw your attention to this idea of, all right, when I had 3 times 4/5, I ended up with 12/5. When I ended up with 2 times 9/10, I got 18/10. 4 times 4/7, I got 16/7. So the thing that stands out is the denominator stays the same. Tenths stays tenths, sevenths stays sevenths, fifths stayed fifths. Not rocket science there. That's consistent with how we add fractions up. Denominators stay the same. However, think about how we used this 3 and 4, and we ended up with a 12. There was a 2 and a 9 here, and we ended up with 18. There was a 4 and a 4 here. I ended up with 16, right? So essentially, if you didn't see it, essentially, you're multiplying those two numbers together to get the new numerator. Denominator stays the same. Numerator gets multiplied together. Why is that? Because of what we did here with the addition, right? 4 4s is 16. That's the definition of 16. I see 4s, and there's 4 of them. Of course it's 4 times 4. It's not a coincidence. It's not a trick. It's literally what we're describing happening here. But that would be kind of the strategy that you'll see me use the most and be most helpful for us, is not actually flipping it around to be like, oh, 2 times 9/10 is the same as 9/10 of 2. I don't know what 9/10 of 2 is. Occasionally that will be beneficial, but instead being able to say, oh, I'm going to be working in tenths. 2 times 9 is in fact 18. There's my 18/10. It is great to get in the habit of simplifying and looking at mixed numbers as well. So I'm going to draw your attention to just 2 final pieces. I'm going to use the strategy we just talked about. So if I'm working in fourths, my answer is going to be fourths. If I'm working in eighths, my answer is going to be eighths. I'll just focus on the top one. So fourths, boom, stick in fourths. I want to multiply these 2 numbers together. So 5 times 1 is in fact 5. There's my answer, is 5/4. When multiplying by quarters, again, use quarters. They're your friend. If you had 5 quarters, it would be $1.25. $1.25 is the same thing as 5/4. It's 1 and 1 more fourth. It's 1 and a quarter. It's $1.25. All of these are kind of acceptable translations. The power of quarters is really important and intuitive, I think, for us. So keep track of that. As far as the bottom one goes, notice that I have 8 in my denominator, true, and we're multiplying on the top numbers, 1 times 8. And once I say it out loud, you can see that, like, hey, 8 times 1/8, that's 1. Yeah, so that shouldn't sneak up on you either when you're taking things that really do kind of click together. Don't be afraid to be thinking of, maybe you think of it instead of 1/8 of 8 is 1, of 8, is 1. But take the big picture look at the problem before just moving into this, like, well, denominator stays the same. We multiply the numerator. Sometimes it helps to just back off a little bit and be like, what's the common sense answer here? All right.